Welcome, everyone, to episode 47 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I'm Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, do we like AIs in our eyes?
You got me with that one. Or do we just like anime?
That's right. And in this episode, we are playing. In this episode, we've played AI: The Somnium Files by Spike Chunsoft. It's an interesting name. This game came out in September of 2019, and I played this on the PC with a size of 14.41 gigabytes. Tom, what about you?
On the Xbox, it delivers 11.6 gigabytes.
Look at that. Well done, Spike Chunsoft, for optimizing for the Xbox. So let's get into it. What kind of game is this?
Okay, so I see what you wrote, and yours is probably better, but I wrote mystery solving visual novel. What did you put?
I mean, I thought your description is more it's more descriptive. Your description is more descriptive, but I just put a point and click adventure game.
See, I forgot that those existed and were a genre. Otherwise, I would have picked that too.
Yeah. But I think, there is, we'll talk about that. But we'll talk about the game loop now, won't we, Tom?
Yes. So I wrote investigate crime scenes in quotation marks to find clues and advance the plot.
I put click through the current environment and go through dialogue cues to figure out how to move the story forward.
Yes. Current environment is a lot more general than crime scenes with quotation marks around it.
Yeah, because not every scene is a crime scene.
Or is it? Bum, bum, bum.
You know what? I think you're right. Maybe we didn't play it far enough for that to be revealed. But what else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about what we liked about this game.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Chris, you have fewer likes. Do you want to go first?
Spoilers. So when I started up this game, it gave me this option, which is kind of weird that some of the game options were outside of the actual game itself. So one of them was the video options. And you know how sometimes you have, when you're playing on a PC or whatnot, you get the choice of like, what quality of graphics do you want to use, like low, medium, high, etc. And sometimes people get a little cheeky with their descriptions. This one had as its like biggest or like most beautiful setting, they called it fantastic. So I thought that was cute. They tried to have a little fun with that. I also liked that even though the game is talking about a pretty heavy subject, which is murder, and in fact, a pretty gruesome murder.
Yeah.
The game opens up with a woman strapped to a merry-go-round horse and stabbed multiple times.
Yes.
And her eye was gouged out. So it was pretty disturbing. Pretty disturbing. And they like zoomed in on that, like the gaping eye hole for a bit. I was like, okay. And they like described it too. Yeah. Like the AI kind of talks about it. It's like, oh, they definitely pulled out this eye while she was still alive. I was like, oh.
Yeah. There's too much blood for any other reason.
That's fair. And it was a pretty game. Again, like I think because the anime art style, I think the amount of polygons that you can use in a game and the art style now, it really does lead to a game that I think will look pretty for a very long time because of the just how it was. I also appreciate, I didn't write this down, I also appreciated that while you were talking to a character, both because they show like a little like talking head version of them,
Mm-hmm.
and the you still see the 3D model of them in the background. Both of them move their mouths, so that was kind of cool. I appreciated that.
Oh yeah.
So, stuff like that was neat about this game. What about you, Tom? What did you like?
Okay. My first note in my likes column was everyone likes a good mystery, right? Like
Yeah.
game opens up, who done it? What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm already engaged. I need to know.
Yeah.
I'm a curious individual, so
Sure.
I think it opened with a bang, as it were.
Or
I'm
stab.
pretty, yeah, or stab.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was an X-Files reference at some point during the dialogue,
Really?
where Date was like, "The truth is out there," and I was like, "Oh, I see what you did there." He said it in a cheeky way.
Yes.
And generally speaking, in a broader sense, I enjoyed the banter between Date and Aiba. I thought it was cute, funny. It's definitely cheesy, and there's lots of innuendo in there.
Oh yeah.
But listen, like you said, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a game that's mostly people talking. You're listening to audio a lot, so it better be interesting audio. Otherwise, right? What the hell is the point?
Yeah.
I liked that as you click, 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 and get more audio, you get hints to what like the real story of the game is. So like, if you're read this and then you read it again, like it kind of queues up and lets you know if there's still more that you can read on it. Like it'll be green if there's still like a new dialogue that it'll give you, and then it'll stop being green and turn white if you've kind of pushed all the way through on the dialogue on it. But I did feel like I was getting somewhere while I was interacting with people and reading all these things and listening to all these things. So I like feeling like I'm getting somewhere. It seemed, so I put it down as a visual novel. You put it down as a point and click adventure game. I think technically speaking, you are more right, because you do kind of move around and point and click, which is not, I don't think, strictly speaking, what a visual novel is. And so in my brain, I was like, hey, this is a lot more interactive than just talking heads.
Sure.
But I don't know a whole lot about visual novel games, so I wouldn't be able to weigh in on that too heavily.
Yeah. That I mean, as I was finishing up my hour, I was trying to remember, like, what did they call these things? Like, outside of being a point and click adventure, this did seem like a extended or more like beefed up version of a visual novel than a point and click adventure. I felt like, because when I think of a point and click adventure, you're not just like going around clicking things on the like, you're also like taking items that you have, trying to combine them, and then interact with the environment and stuff like that as well. So, it's like a mix of the two, I'd say.
Yeah. It definitely is some kind of hybrid there.
Yeah. Anything else you want to bring on that you liked about this game?
I think I'm maxed out on likes. I'm ready to talk about things I maybe didn't like so much.
Okay. Let's go into it.
Okay. That intro was disturbing. Like, so yes, everyone likes a good mystery, right?
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe not on the way it was delivered. It was one of those things where I was like, oh boy, like this is a lot.
Yep. They wanted to grab your attention. You know what? I'll give them credit. They grabbed your attention in that first hour. Not even the first hour. In the first, I'd say, 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah. It was creepy and it did this stuff. And like, I was like, oh boy, what did I get myself into?
The one thing I was wondering though, is this game part of a larger series, or?
Ooh, I don't know.
That's what I'd love to find out, because it just seemed like this world was already kind of like, it like kind of dropped you in, but like you didn't really know much about everything else that's going on. But like the characters are talking, like, oh, I like your main, like Date, which you say in your notes is a dumb name, but
Because it is. His name is Date. Date.
oh, did you play this in English or in Japanese?
I played it in English.
Okay.
Maybe I should have played it in Japanese.
Yeah, Japanese is pretty good. Their voice acting was good. I should put that as my likes too. The voice acting was good on Japanese. Um, I I don't know. This game was just so weird. I didn't like. Here's one thing, and again, I think this is specifically a PC issue. Again, at the beginning of the game, the sub, like, there's, or not even when you start the game, like the menu that pops up before you even launch the game, there is the option where you can change your visual settings. But the other thing that you can do is it asks you which help options or help cues do you want the game to display, whether it be for the gamepad or for the mouse and keyboard.
Oh.
So I initially played this game on the gamepad because for some reason, when I read the description of this game, and I didn't read it all the way through, and that's my fault, I thought this game was going to be more like an action game, not like, where I'd be playing in third person, moving around the environment, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure, yeah.
But like when I started the game, I was like, oh, this game like is perfect for the mouse and keyboard, because the mouse, you can move around the environment much easier than dragging your thumb around the thumbstick, So when I did that, when I switched like, you can change your what you're using in the game, but the problem is, like they said, the help menus will still stay in gamepad. You doesn't switch to mouse and keyboard. So like I was just kind of guessing at that point. I had like I was like, I only had the hour, so I was like, I'm not going to quit the game and restart it, and do that. But I thought that was kind of frustrating and annoying, because I feel like there's a lot of games that just do that. Like it'll recognize it. Oh, you're using the mouse and keyboard now. Let me switch all the help, the cues for your buttons to this new input. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. And like you said, the game, like, and we both said this, the game was very tonally, like, very not so serious. I like some of the innuendo was just cringy as heck, man.
Yeah.
It was like, ugh. It was bad. And my goodness, I feel like every girl that I saw in that game was barely wearing any clothes yet again.
Yep.
This is the second game, right? We played oh my goodness, Nier Automata, and the same thing. But like this, they it was cleavage and upskirts all over the place. That's why I was like, I for a second I thought, I was like, is this one of those like hentai visual novels that we've just jumped ourselves into? I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. Well, Tom, you've got some more notes here for your dislikes. What did you have here?
Okay. I didn't realize that we were getting into this visual novel style game. So I thought it was weird that I wasn't able to move my character, right from the beginning, where it's sort of like, I just kind of look around the map. And I was like,
right.
With like, not with my body, just with my eyes. Like, this is dumb. And again, I was playing with the controller, so not an ideal setup to explore the environment. A lot of times I was frustratingly moving past what I wanted to, click on.
Yep.
Additionally, speaking of control and just settings and things like that, the default audio mix, at least on the Xbox, seemed kind of off. The dialogue was too quiet relative to the music, which obviously I could just pause the game and I changed it in the settings and everything was fine. But it was interesting that they were all kind of set at the same level, that it seemed kind of like the dialogue was too quiet. Like a lot of times it was getting drowned out by the background music.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think when I even started the game, I was like, wow, this is really loud. Like the music was really loud. So I turned that down without even like bothering, because I was like, I knew this is going to be an issue for me. So that's interesting that, it is what it is. But
Wise of you.
yeah. The eyeball jumping.
Yeah. So Iba is the AI ball AI that's inside of Date's head.
Yes.
And there's a sequence where it like jumps out of his eye socket and then like becomes a creature. And the music is telling you, this is a fun and cute thing that's happening. But it like really gave me the heebie-jeebies because I'm like, what? His eyeball just popped out of his head, rolls around on the ground, sprouts arms and legs, and is like dancing around. Like, God.
Yeah. But even before that, the other thing, there was that dream sequence that you're in too, where like she takes the form of like this, again, like this sexy little AI robot. And it's like, there's like a skeleton with like blood on its in the eye again. There's some sort of like creepy, like obsession with like a missing eye that this game director or whoever just thought about. It was like, let's just do things with eyeballs in this game. That'd be hot. So I don't know. That wasn't for me, but
it definitely figures into the plot.
I suppose. I don't know how far you got. I got up to the old lady, and like where you meet like an Ash Ketchum looking kid.
No,
I don't meet him, but okay.
I was still in the
boss's
office.
I was in there for a long time.
Yeah,
trying to figure out how that. And that's the other thing that I didn't like about this. I felt like I was just stuck in that room forever. Like there was no way for me to exit, and I just like eventually I was like, all right, let me just try to go through every piece of conversation with every person, and then eventually I was able to get to the next spot. But I was like, oof, there's just way too much. Like I felt like there's just like a lot of trial and error, which I guess is why I also thought about like the old point and click adventure games, because it was a lot of trial and error with those games. But what are you talking about here? Where's fan servicey though?
Oh, I just like exactly what you were talking about before, where like, why is his AI eyeball a sexy anime girl? Why does she fall over and she's wearing a tiny little skirt? Like, it's like, does it need to do all this? Like, I don't know.
Is it waifu? Waifu?
Waifu, yeah.
Waifu. Okay. Waifu.
Yeah. That's 100%. That's I was. You called it something else, but we agree on that. Like, it's unnecessarily so. I mean, obviously there's a target demographic for that, but it's not you and me.
No. Okay. Well, let's. Anything else you want to bring up though? I will say, surprisingly, this game has Xbox Cloud saves, and you can play this game anywhere. So, for those people that need to get their AI Somnium files wherever they need to go, you can do it with this game.
Oh, it's a pretty easy game to interact with too. So that's seems like a great game that would lend itself well to being played on the phone, etc.
Yeah. I would, but I'm surprised that this game doesn't have it. It has touch controls, but not in the sense of like where I could just use my finger to like point at things. I just have the virtual gamepad.
Oh, okay.
So it's still that like the same issue that you would have on the gamepad, where it's just kind of missing targets and stuff like that. I also read that this game takes about 20 to 25 hours to beat. I was surprised at how long this game was. There is multiple endings, so I'll give it that. There is multiple endings apparently. So,
okay,
yeah. So, anything else you wanted to bring up there?
No. My other thoughts happens to be in agreement with something that you said earlier, which is that I thought because of the visual style, the game should continue to be accessible for a long time.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
going to age well.
Yeah.
I don't know if the content of the game is going to age well, but the visual style of the game will age well.
I feel like September 2019 is probably the cutoff, because after that, if this game started to get released again, like most of the stuff that happened during the game would probably be edited to heck. So
could be,
but I guess this is our final thoughts. What are we going to do, Tom? Are we going to keep in this?
Okay, so I see some disparity here, I'm going to say it was hard for me to put it down because I was in the middle of a scene.
Okay.
So like while I was like engrossed in talking to characters, I was like, I don't want to stop. But at the same time, I definitely think this is going to be one of those games that falls into the category of games that I stopped playing because I like turned them off and then they just don't get turned back on again. It's not that I hated the game. It's not like I uninstalled it immediately. It's still installed. Maybe I'll go back to it. I was interested in the mystery. I'd like to solve it. But I'm not sure if I actually will.
Right.
How about you?
I was kind of interested because of the mystery, like you pointed out. But if this game was maybe 10 hours or so, maybe I'd want to go back to it. But like some of the dialogue and the way that you had to progress each scene was for me a bit too painful. So in this case, it's not a keep. I'm trashing this game.
That's fair. So, I could see you not wanting to do another 19 to 24 hours of this.
Yeah. So those are our thoughts on this game. Let us know what you guys think. I mean, if anyone's played this game and loved it and thought the game actually opens up after the first hour, please let us know. Hit us up on Twitter at TC1H1D or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Or yell at us when we're playing our games. Well, maybe me, not more so than Tom, because Tom ignores us.
You're welcome to yell at both of us, but I will not be listening.
So you could hit us up on our streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And we're part of our awesome network with QTB. So you can check out our website, check out the website and also all the awesome content that's coming out there at quitthebill.com. And our site is quitthebill.com/1H1D if you wanted to see our lovely faces. And of course, we're on YouTube. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and hit that notification bell when our content comes in. So,
or just listen to us on a podcast and don't do any of those things.
Yes, you could do that. You can listen to our podcast on whatever podcast platform you use or listen to with. So, and also we are part of the Midweek Mix-Up Collective, which is a great group of guys trying to just spread the word on these on our content as well as theirs, where they try to promote their Twitch content, their YouTube content, et cetera, and good guys, and definitely check out their stuff. Midweek Collective podcast and all the awesome people out there. But we got to find out what we're playing next, don't we, Tom?
Yes, we do. It is the important final piece of every one of our episodes.
Yes, it is. So
critical to the longevity of this program.
That's right. So let's find out what we are playing next. Here we go. Okay, seems familiar. Undertale?
Yes, I've heard of it. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay. I've never played it. It's of course available on Xbox One. It's very popular on the consoles. Yes. And that is why I say it will be interesting, is because it is a very popular game.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if we're going to like it or if we're going to really not like it.
Yeah.
And either way, I imagine it will be a popular episode in our long list of podcasts.
Well, we'll see. We shall see, because
this is my prediction. My prediction is that episode 48 will be an episode that lots of people will listen to.
Hot takes from Tom. Yes. All right. So Undertale will be the next game we're going to be checking out. So we'll jump on that game, and we'll give you our thoughts on our next episode. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we appreciate each and every one of you. So we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.